it, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back, you ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this, go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same.
Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right.
Ay, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Ay, I can never let up even if you had enough. Ay, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat a submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance ain't coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk like the show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling. They already know.
Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same.
Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right.
What's good, family? What's good, family? So one more time. We back at it with another segment. About to kick it off. We got things to talk about today. Salute to everybody who is in the building right now. I know there's 100,000 places you could be right now, and you're here with me, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking the time to tap in. Of course, as you're stepping in the building, take a moment to go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so today. Today, we got some things to talk about. A lot of things out in the boxing space today, right? The current news is Janibek and Erislandy Lara is off, as Janibek has had adverse findings in his blood work. You know how it is in the boxing game in the state of combat sports with performance enhancement drugs. People get caught up. There are a lot of adverse findings coming up in boxing right now, but, that's a credit to the testing system. I think at the end of the day, the more they find, the more effective the system is obviously shown to be. And, if these fighters are getting caught more regularly, then you got to think at some point it's going to discourage these fighters, hopefully, from doing that. Obviously followed up by official consequences, things of that nature, right? So that one's off the card coming up this weekend, which is a great card. That was coming up. It would have been a better card with Erislandy Lara and Janibek unifying on that card, but still filled with a bunch of other fights on there that we're going to be looking forward to see. We got those Shaki Forcer, Stephen Fulton fight, of course, the main event, Esau Cruz and Pitbull Cruz, and we got Shane Mosley Jr. and Jesus Ramos on there. And from what I'm understanding and hearing, rumor has it that Erislandy Lara will be fighting against Johan Gonzalez, right? If you guys remember, Johan Gonzalez last year fought Yoenis Telez on that WBA interim title fight. Yoenis Telez obviously won that one, and then we also saw Johan Gonzalez get the best of Jarrett Hurd, right, in their fight. So, that'll be the replacement for Erislandy Lara. I mean, a last-minute replacement. What do you expect, right? It's got to be a fight that makes sense for Erislandy Lara. He doesn't want to put his title on the line against somebody he have an opportunity to prepare to fight against, right? So that's what's going on with that. In other news, Conor Benn looks like he's made an announcement. I guess the WBC's made another one of those power moves and put Conor Benn in as a mandatory, ranking him #1 in the WBC rankings in the welterweight division. And I'm sure a lot of people are asking themselves, right? How does that come full circle? Or where does Conor Benn come from and end up being a number one? But yeah, hey, man, it's not the first time we've seen it. We're seeing Ryan Garcia come off of a loss, and he's walking right into an opportunity to become a champion. Literally took a loss at his only fight he had at 147 for a belt that was kind of like just manufactured and put there for him and Rolly Romero to fight over. Lost that fight, and here he is walking into another opportunity to become a champion. It is what it is, right? So Conor Benn is in position now to fulfill a lifelong dream of his, to get that WBC title just like his father did. We'll see how that turns out. He looks like he's looking at the winner of Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. I think, listen, man, if you've been watching the sport and if you've been watching what's going on lately, that's not the fight that people want to see. People want to see if Ryan Garcia is able to get that win for Mario Barrios. You would think that he would be going into a unification fight with Devin the Dream Haney, obviously, right? But, we don't know. The politics of the sport is what the politics of the sport is. So we'll watch that come together. Coming off of a weekend of boxing with Ben Whitaker putting in a great first round stoppage over Benjamin Gavazi. That fight right there, it's stirring up some energy, right? Because obviously you don't want to give Ben Whitaker the credit of fighting a world-class fighter, right? But still, I think the performance was a telling performance, something to look forward to, and seeing what Ben Whitaker is able to use this momentum that he has for himself. Eddie Hearn's investing a lot of resources behind Ben Whitaker, and we'll talk about that. What's next for Ben Whitaker and how the light heavyweight division looks and benefits off of Ben Whitaker looking the way he does. A lot of fighters in that division we're looking forward to seeing do things. Ezra Taylor, Najee Lopez, right? And obviously the usual suspects in Joshua Buatsi, David Benavidez, Dimitri Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, right? Even Jesse Hart, Khalil Cole, all these different names in the light heavyweight division. Ben Whitaker adding his own flair to the division, a very athletic fighter with an Olympic background, a pretty decent pedigree, and obviously watching the fight the way it went with him and Benjamin Gavazi also has some pop in his punches. We'll talk about that today. And then we'll dive in, of course, to the big news that's popped out across the whole entire boxing space. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson have announced their fight has been officially announced. It looks like it's going to be on January 31st. January 31st turning out to be a very action-packed boxing day. It's going to be interesting to sit back and call all those fights that day because there's so many fights happening that day, right? We've got Xander Zayas fighting against Abbas Baharu. I believe that's the date that they're aiming for on that date as well. I'm hearing rumors of Jamel Charlo and Caleb Plant being on that same exact date. Listen, man, a lot of fights. I think even if I'm correct, I think Bachram will be fighting against Josh Kelly on that day as well. So that'll be a fight happening in that day, in the daytime area, in the night. I guess they're going to share the waves, right? I don't know how we're going to cover it, but we're going to figure out how to cover it because that's what we do here at ATP. But yeah, a lot going on. American boxing looking like it's going to take is going to do a great job. 2026, they're going to get the momentum going, right? 3 big fights on the same day. American fighters, Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. And then you got Xander Zayas, Puerto Rican, but American at the end of the day, right? Defending and trying to unify with Abbas Baharu. And of course, old but good Jamal Charlo versus Caleb Plant. They get to settle that issue that they had a long time ago, but big cards in the American boxing space, and we get to see that roll out for early 2026. We'll talk about all of that. I also want to tap in a little bit to the Terrence Crawford, what I'm going to call the Terrence Crawford / Devin Haney era, right? Really the Terrence Crawford era, but this is the era of accolades, the era of championship boxing, right? World-class level boxing, the best fighting the best. Everybody trying to follow suit to what Terrence Crawford was able to accomplish against Canelo Alvarez, challenging themselves, wanting to take the biggest fights. And this hopefully is part of that golden era of boxing, or as my brother Showbiz says, the stone age of boxing, right? We'll talk about that a little bit as well. The influence of a Terrence Crawford on this fight right here being put together between Shakur Stevenson and and Teofimo Lopez. We've got to dive into this fight, of course. 60 days away, less than 60 days away. This fight is going to happen on January 31st. We'll talk about the intangibles on this one right here. Try to see what, try to get some predictions of sort, right? As we look at this fight from the whole entire landscape of things, from Shakur's hands, to Teofimo's strategies, to the adjustments that need to be made on this fight, to the body work potentially being a key factor for Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, who can be very elusive when he wants to be. The back foot. Both these guys like to fight on the back foot, but somebody's going to have to take that initiative. They're going to have to step forward and make this fight what it is. Both these guys are counter punchers, so this fight can end up being boring just off the strength of what they like to do naturally. We have a southpaw in Shakur Stevenson coming at Teofimo Lopez. How's he going to deal with that? The power of Teofimo Lopez translating into 140 pounds. Have we seen it? Do we believe in it? Is that power really there? Well, we'll talk about all those things. We'll talk about the father-son duo of Teofimo Lopez and his father, and how that looks as far as what's going on in the corner of Teofimo Lopez in comparison to Shakur Stevenson, who's coming in with his grandfather as well, but also with the help from teammates and, big brother Terrence Crawford and sparring partners like Keyshawn Davis and things of that nature. What does that end up happening? And ultimately, at the end of this fight, what are we looking at here as far as the pound for pound list is concerned, as far as the leader of the new generation of boxing? Devin Haney just putting on a great performance 2 weeks ago against Brian Norman Jr. Arguably put himself right back in the driver position as far as one of the biggest stars in the American boxing space. But Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, these are one of the four kings, and these guys are going to fight each other. Probably one of the most competitive fights that could be put together. When you talk about that conversation outside of Shakur and Gervonta Tank Davis, this one right here has to be very close up, right behind Gervonta Tank Davis. And to be honest with you, Teofimo Lopez, a way more decorated fighter in this case scenario. A huge opportunity for Shakur Stevenson, who's also going to be looking to become a champion. And what would this be? His third division? Well, no, not second, but third division, right? He should be three division champion. A lot running on it, right? So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, guys, and we're going to try to cover up as much of it as possible. Oh, yeah, on other news also, Alexander Usyk puts out a video saying that he's looking forward to trying to fight Deontay Wilder, which I ain't going to lie, that came out of left field for me. I mean, obviously on the back end of him vacating his WBO title, and we're watching Fabio Wardley be elevated to a WBO champion, and that he's potentially, right, he's potentially entertaining going into the direction of finding Deontay Wilder, maybe a bucket list fight of his. Is he wrong for that? Is he allowed the grace to fight a fight like that, something that he once done? Has he done enough in the heavyweight division? He fought Daniel Dubois twice. He fought Tyson Fury twice. He fought Anthony Joshua twice. Does he get grace? Or do we hold him accountable as a unified champion, former undisputed, two-time undisputed heavyweight champion, three-time undisputed champion, two weight class undisputed champion? Has Alexander Usyk done enough, or are we going to hold him accountable? The community will speak, I'm sure, when it's all said and done. But as we dive into all these different topics, of course, I'm not going to be doing this by myself. I got my brother in the background. Shout out to my brother, Ray M. Effin Davis in the building. Ray Davis, how we doing? Salute. Let the clap come through. Salute to the OG, man. Salute to my partner in crime, man. Ray motherfucking Davis, man. How you doing, family? Oh, you're muted. We don't hear you. Yeah, we don't hear you, bro. Yeah. While Ray's getting that, no, we haven't. We don't hear you yet. We still don't hear you.
Oh, microphone check 1 2. It was the mic that was off. Okay, I was like, yo, everything on.
Having it on always helps, right? It always helps.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Salute for real. Yo, my boy Shelton said he got something to say, but we're gonna have to hold that for a minute because I know you want to build.
Yeah, we want to build. I also want to go ahead and shout out everybody out in the building right quick. Go to do a little roll call, but I did want to bring you in real quick. Flexing and stepping, salute. Hey, flexing and stepping, salute, man. Appreciate you supporting me over there at the Boxing Voice, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. That's always showing me love, allowing me to come up there and build with those guys, man. And that's always a good thing, man. That's always a great thing. I always appreciate the opportunity. That's how flexing stepping ended up over here. You know what I'm saying? He saw me over there, bro. So I always appreciate Ness for that. Thanks, flexing and stepping. for the support, man. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to I don't know. It says CH. Is that Chad?
Yeah, but that's somebody trying. I don't think that's real. But salute
that's
to you.
Kind of weird. Okay, yeah. What up, family? Yeah, salute. SOBTV in the building. Salute Claymore. Blesses my brother. Blesses back at you, man. My brother low nose boxing with the cautious Clay, but he came back and said Cassius Clay. Salute to low nose boxing. Sam from Jersey says salute Claymore. ATB Combat Media for life. Let's get it, man. Kalia World in the building. Salute Queen. How you doing? Shout out to my guy 2 Cents in the building. Salute. Multiverse Gaming in the building said, what's up, Clay? Did you hear Janet Beck pop dirty? Yeah, I did, man. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as well because, these fighters, and once again, one of these fighters trying to cut weight. We know Janet Beck has been in that 160-pound weight class division maybe a little bit too long. People have been talking. You've been hearing the rumors of him going to 168, but he's probably looking for that signature fight at 160 that he can get under his belt. But what are these guys doing to keep this weight in a safe way? They're taking supplements. Are they reading the ingredients on their supplements? Is this being done on purpose? We'll talk about it because I think more importantly, it's about accountability, right? Whether you did it on purpose, you didn't do it on purpose, it's in your system. We ain't got time to read your soul and read your spirit and your good intentions, man. We got to read the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? We were talking about this on the Boxing Voice, right? With Sabril Matias, somebody who's been in a ring with somebody and somebody's died on the other side of his fist. So the consequences are way too high for us to start sympathizing with people using performance enhancement drugs. You got to be responsible. You got to understand that you hold the life of other people's in your hands. It's bad enough the sport is dangerous as it is, but performance enhancement drugs in a sport like this, you just can't sweep that under the rug, man. Accountability is must. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with him as a champion, as a unified champion. How are they going to deal with Janet Beck? Does he lose titles? Does he get, what kind of pressure does the sanctioning bodies put on him for something like this coming together? But we'll talk about it all, right? Shout out for Sam from Jersey here in the building. Birdman Jr. 323 in the building says Janet Beck with the nasty work. 100%, man. Salute, man. Let's see here. Great One 765 says Shakur versus TEO official. 100% official, man. January 31st is going down. Right now they're just saying New York. I don't know if they've announced whether it's going to be Madison Square Garden or the Barclays, but it's definitely going to be in New York at this point. So we could talk about this fight in real time now. I know a lot of people were worried about whether this fight would even come together because Teofimo is such a unique character, right? And it's not promised with him until it's on paper. But, I saw Teofimo on Inside the Ring with Max Kellerman and those guys over there talking about this fight is definitely official, man. It's going to be delivered to us January 31st. DGO 82 in the building says, what up, Clay? What up, back? What up, family? What's good with you, man? I do not believe the card is canceled this weekend, DGO. Just that fight. Matter of fact, like I said earlier, I believe Lara already has a replacement opponent. From what I'm hearing, rumor is Johan Gonzalez is going to be replacing Janet Beck. So Lara will be defending his WBA title this weekend. And that is what it is, right? I don't think that opponent's that dangerous, but at the same time, this guy beat Jared Hurd. And, he was in the conversation to be a WBA. That's crazy, right? That he was actually in the conversation at 154 for the WBA title. He lost that to Yoenis Celez. Yoenis Celez got that interim WBA title. Now he's up at 160 and gets another shot at the WBA title. Listen, man, hard work.
That works out.
Yeah, it works out sometimes like that, right? Birdman Jr. 323 says Jairo Pataya fights this weekend. I had no idea. Me neither. Wow.
I did.
Available televised outside of Australia for what I've been seeing. Yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't know, man. So, yeah, man, that's probably why they ain't advertise it to us because we can't watch it, right? Shout out to Shelton Moore. Says Devin Haney era. Hey, man, we're going to talk about it, right? Devin Haney, Terrence, it's definitely the Terrence Crawford era, right? But Devin Haney is somebody, there's an argument there to say that Devin Haney's been on this energy, right? That he's been trying to fight the best and been, the youngest guy undisputed in the 4-belt era, been chasing down the champions and the best in every single division he goes into. And people looked past that, right? People looked past that and they looked at the explosive, exciting fighter who was delivering all the knockouts. But here we go. It does seem like, Devin Haney's on the right side of this conversation. First time in a long time, as it's just always been dismissed what he's tried to do. And now, watching a Teofimo and a Shakur Stevenson come together, I would like to believe that the independence that Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford both check those boxes. That's why I tell you guys, Devin Haney is giving me Terrence Crawford vibes, right? When I'm saying his independence, his refusal to be tied down by a promotional company, his pursuant of boxing excellence, right? Of legacy and acquiring championships and going through multiple divisions and doing all these great things that we've seen Terrence Crawford doing. No, listen, man, you don't have to take it with a grain of salt. But I'm just saying, for whatever it's worth, it's definitely the Terrence Crawford era, but it's Devin Haney, also in that conversation. You know what I mean? That's a personal taste, right? However you feel about it, right? Salute to you guys, man. Shelton Moore says, Ray Davis, my man, tell Clay to drop the link so we can talk about this Devin Haney era-ish. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Jacob 305 says, who else Usyk could he fight that's noteworthy? I hear you on that too. Deontay Wilder to a degree, but Deontay Wilder hasn't had the greatest
walkaway
years. So I mean, I don't know. Shout out to Ness. We were talking about that earlier as well, and he made a significant statement saying boxing is about timing. And I've always told you guys that boxing is about timing. These fights being made at the right time make the most sense. Deontay Wilder's clearly not in his prime. Clearly not the same fighter that we thought would be the guy who would beat Anthony Joshua, the guy who we thought would knock out your favorite fighter. He's not presenting that himself like that anymore. Is he going to return to that? I mean, should he be required to prove that in the ring before Usyk gives him an opportunity to become a unified heavyweight champion? His last fight, he did get a knockout, but did he look impressive in that fight to where you feel like he should surpass? I mean, do we believe that Deontay Wilder beats Fabio Wardley? Do we believe he beats a Moses Atama? Do we believe he beats an Ajit Caballel? I'm just mentioning off a couple of names as far as people who there's an argument to say are way more deserving for a shot at that opportunity than Deontay is. But I mean, to each their own, right? It is what it is. Shout out to everybody in the building. Is anybody I missed up here? Dante Boxing Talk in the building says, salute all Tankamaniacs are super mad, but Haney and Shakur, my goodness. Yeah, 100%, man. Boxing moves on, right? Boxing moves on. It does not wait on one fighter. It's not on one fighter's shoulders. Boxing moves on, man. And this is a great fight. This Teofimo Shakur fight is one of the best fights I've seen stylistically, just matchmaking wise, on paper in a long time. This fight is very interesting. Very interesting fight. Dude in the bad mood says, the master of distance, Shakur, don't lose to these small reach boxers. Don't lose to these small reach boxers. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, man. Shout out to my guy, HLD. HLD, I know you're excited. Your guy's in the big show. He's finally there. This is Teofimo Lopez's first headline pay-per-view. Am I correct?
Yeah.
He's been fighting this for a while, right?
Yeah. Pay-per-view, yes.
Yeah, pay-per-view. He's headline cards for sure. But the pay-per-view, this is a big show.
Zone wasn't a headliner. I mean, a pay-per-view card with Kambosos.
Yeah, with Kambosos. Yeah, exactly. But this is a big opportunity for Teofimo, man. Listen, man, he's fought hard for it, man. I ain't mad at him. He said a lot of crazy things, a lot of slanderous, crazy things. But at the end of the day, if just judging him on what goes on inside the ring and not so worried about what's going on outside the ring, this is a great test. Let's see if he lives up to the to what the legends say, that Teofimo Lopez fights to the level of his competition. Well, this is about as high as it gets for Teofimo. So let's see how that ends up checking out for him, right? We'll find out. The Libra 926 in the building. Salute my God, the Libra, man. Appreciate you, man. Salute to you, family. Hope everything's good with you, man. Glad to see you in the building, man. Let me see here. He's getting stripped. WBO don't play unless he has a prescription for it. He's cooked. Yeah, he's talking about Janabek. Joseph Jackson in the building. Salute to you, family. Says salute to the Gray Beard Gang. 100%, man. You know what I mean? I earned every single one of them. Every one of them are mine.
It's about to,
You know what I mean? It is what it is. Sonny Augustine in the building says salute Claymore and Ray. Salute back at you, man. Good to see you in the building, man. Let me see if I'm missing anybody before we get into this conversation. Eastside Easy in the building. Salute to you, good guys. ATP in the building, no doubt. Salute. I believe we got everybody, man. Yeah, man. It is what it is. So let's get to it, Ray. Let's get to it and let's build on these topics, man. Do we want to talk straight to the elephant in the room, Shakur and Teo? Do we want to get it? We got the Eastside Cruz and Lamont Roach Jr. card coming up as well. I mean, well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Because I think we can talk about that on Thursday. Get deeper into that card on Thursday because I want to talk about a lot of these current events going on right now. And I want to talk about, at least on that fight, a fight that we're not going to see on that card. Janabek is not going to be fighting and unifying with Erislandy Lara. He pops up dirty on a performance enhancement drug test. That fight gets pulled off the card. Any thoughts on that at this point?
I mean, I guess is he state living, or does he live like outside of the United States? Janabek?
I have no idea. It's a good question. I don't know.
Just curious, because depending on where he lives and regulations they have there and things of that nature, I mean, it could have been something he was taking that it was in his homeland, you know what I mean, as he was training and before he got here, that he had no idea was being regulated in the States. But at the same time, you're a boxer and you should know where you're, you know what I mean, what state, what country, whatever is banned, and that shit shouldn't be in your system. I mean, it's all knowledgeable information, and it's all bad for business. This is not me giving an excuse. It's just giving me a reason. I mean, just me just shouting out reasons of what could possibly be. As far as him failing, though, it's just diabolical, bro, because you got the biggest fight of your career, and two things happen here. Either, you know what I mean, it was accidental, or you did it to get the advantage. And a lot of people have been saying he's been, you know, on drugs a long time, or performance enhancers a long time. It's been coming. So, it is what it is at this point. I mean, I have nothing more to say, but just shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked in this boxing game. I'm definitely not shocked, but I do agree with you. I think he's messing around with a lot of opportunity. Obviously, we know Terrence Crawford had his eye on he was part of the conversation potentially. You know, that's a big payday that was waiting on him. We got to see how the sanctioning bodies also deal with this, right? He had a fight. He's getting pulled out to fight for performance enhancement drugs. How is the WBO? How is the IBF going to deal with this? You know what I mean? Are they going to approach it with a stern hand and strip him of his titles, which might be what needs to happen? I you know, when it comes to these performance enhancement drug testing and the things that come out of it, it's like the punishment has to make sense, because you gotta make examples for other fighters, but also you have to give these guys some vested interest on being more responsible and accountable for what's in their system, man. That's just what it comes down to it. Now, Janabek is not a big superstar in boxing. He's he's clearly the best 160-pound fighter. I think most people would have said that. But these fighters fighting so hard to stay in these weight classes that they've outgrown, but they want to compete and hold that leverage that they believe they have over the opponents that are in that division. And here it is. Janabek is probably doing something to deal with that weight cut issue, because from what I understand, whatever it was he was taking helps him in that conversation. So that's why it becomes more than a coincidence, right?
Right.
When that ends up happening. So what do you think about the replacement fighter for Erislandy Lara as far as Johan Gonzalez is concerned? What do you think about that?
I mean, he's on a roll. I could say he's been, you know, he did all right. You know what I mean? He belongs in a conversation, I guess, especially just moving up in weight. I mean, we'll see what he brings to the table. I mean, Laura's an older fighter. Even though Laura has the experience, you know what I mean? Anything can happen, especially when you got a guy that has a skill set and has had opportunities that prove that they belong in championship conversation. Anything can happen. I mean, does Laura find the fountain of youth again and display his skill set? Or does this young guy come in here and show his possibility, the way he fought in the Bird, or was it not Chris Brown? Almost said Chris Bird. Jared Hurd fight, and put on a display and shows that he can stay in the pocket, he can fight, he can put lights out. Because I mean, he beat the brakes off of Jared Hurd. I mean, does he do that? That's what I'm saying.
A big pressure fighter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Does he apply it and able to cut off the ring and hold Laura honest in that ring where he can take that title? That's where it comes down to.
I mean, and Erislandy Lara now sitting on his punches a lot more. He's not as mobile as he used to be. He looks like he's he's standing his ground a lot more. So I think this fight still has potential to be a great fight. I think stylistically it's there. I think on paper, just name-wise, it doesn't stand out. It's not super attractive. Everybody's not just screaming, oh, yeah. But I think, listen, man, with the way Johan Gonzalez fights and the way Erislandy Lara fights now, this fight is, I think it has the potential to be a great fight, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I think we might see Erislandy Lara probably stop Johan Gonzalez, very possibly, just off the strength of his ability to sharpshoot and counterpunch. And Gonzalez is going to be so busy letting his hands go that there's going to be opportunities in there if Arizona can weather the storm to punch. Punch while Johan is punching, and let's see if that power translates and if he can get a stoppage. You know what I mean? I'm very interested in seeing what happens with Janibek in those titles. I think we're all going to have to wait and see how they deal with that. That makes a big difference. Right now with Terrence Crawford, rumoring that, since that interview with Bernie the Boxer, Bernie communicated that Terrence is going to need at least $100 million to fight Canelo Alvarez in the rematch. The boxing space is upside down about that. I heard people talking today saying, Terrence Crawford doesn't deserve this, that, and the other. And to me, I'm like, when are they going to stop doing that, right? When are they going to stop sitting there trying to put a cap or a ceiling on a fighter's worth? A fighter who's fought against the powers that be so many times and come up on the other side as a winner. When are you guys going to stop doubting Terrence Crawford and his ability to get money? I don't understand.
Bro, it's like they underestimate Pikachu every time, don't they?
Yeah.
They underestimate, but Pikachu always finds a way to win and shock your ass, don't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He looked like a cute little kitten, like, oh, but in reality, he's over here dropping thunder, lightning on these dudes, right?
Thunderclap, bro.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. But like I said on today on The Voice with Ness, man, you can't put value on these fighters. You can't put ceilings on these fighters, bro. It's over for that, man. With Turkey Al-Sheikh in the game, Terrence Crawford, if he is asking for $100 million, once again, shout out to Ness who also spoke on this as far as, did Terrence Crawford ask for $100 million? Now, you guys heard that from Bernie. You did not hear that from Terrence Crawford, right? Like, that's not what you heard Terrence Crawford say. Bernie's going to share his opinion and say what he's saying. Like, my guy needs $100 million at least. You know what I mean? But is that a negotiation? Is that a real is that really what needs to happen for Terrence Crawford to pull the trigger and make a fight happen? We don't know that, right? But whatever it is, Terrence Crawford is going to do what he has to do. You're worth what you negotiate, right? At the end of the day.
Right.
And listen, man, he happens to hold some of the cards, but I think the whole Janibek situation could also affect that, right? Because does that potentially take an option off the table for Terrence Crawford and kind of paint him into a corner where the Canelo Alvarez really might be one of the only real options for him on the table? And does that affect the way that negotiation happens for a second fight between those guys?
Because if they don't want to give him the $100 million, he wants to be a 4-time undisputed champion. This is the first way to go about it. WBO is the belt that Janibek holds. It is a way for Terrence Crawford to get in the picture for a unification with Laura or Carlos Adames in one fight, and then go out and seek the other belts very easily within 2 more fights, retire off in the sunset, and still get the bread that he's asking for in 3 or 4 fights, and getting the accolades on top of that. At the same time, I don't think Turkey has a problem giving this guy $100 million. I really don't. I think it's the other side of the street. Does Canelo want to be the B side? That's what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm giving this guy $100 million, then somebody got to be the B side because he sure is the A side and he's a champion. So I got to respect that. So that's what it all boils down to at this point. And though I still think Canelo is the bigger star in the sport, Bud Crawford has proven that he is one of the best stars in the sport. So especially pound for pound great. So it says a lot. You know what I mean? Now, maybe they'll do like something like they did before, Clay, where they had the maybe they'll pay him like a nice bag and be like, hey, the bonus in this fight will be $1 million or $2 million. What do you want? $100 million?
He won 100. He won 100 million. He won 100.
So, all right. So we give you.
That's not what he said. Let me stop saying that because Ness taught me a good lesson today. Yeah. Right. I mean, he teach me a good lesson. He taught round one a good lesson. But I learned from the situation, and it makes complete sense. I mean, I didn't need that to really learn per se, but yeah, bro, you got to watch what you say out here, bro. Especially when you call yourself being one of the pundits in the space, man. You got to make sure you're on the right side of the conversation and speaking facts. So yeah,
we seeing this day by day because we starting to see some cooking going on, bro. I mean,
yeah,
that's a different conversation. That's for another day. But we started. So for saying the things that you can regret, good point.
Yeah. So we got to speak to it that Bernie feels like
Right.
Terrence needs $100 million.
Right.
You know,
And if that is the case, maybe they can find a way to make that happen in type of winner takes all or winner takes this or whatever type of scenario where he gets the 100 million or Canelo gets 100 million in the win. You know what I mean? Just make.
but Canelo has a deal already, right? He has a
Right.
deal for like a
He's
couple
like
hundred
he's
million.
like 70 million. He had like a $300 million deal.
Right.
Right.
For
And I think
4 fights, right? 4
yeah,
fights or 3 fights, whatever it
yeah,
is.
something like that. So he's like making 70 million a fight, something like that.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. So we'll watch that come together, man. Let's go ahead and segue. Now, we just talked about the Terrence Crawford situation and the money over there. Let's talk about Ben Whitaker a little bit, and then after that, we can jump right into the Teofimo and Shakur conversation. But Ben Whitaker coming off of a great performance against Benjamin Gavazi in his 175 debut with Matchroom, not debut in general. He's been fighting at 175, but with Matchroom, right? Big deal here. Matchroom secures this deal with Rock Nation, secures a deal with Riyadh Season. They put in the resources and they're investing in Ben Whitaker. They believe he's one of the next biggest stars in the UK. So Eddie Hearn, with his matchmaking skills, finds himself a fighter who's pretty much undefeated, lost his first fight as a professional, but been undefeated throughout his whole career, but a domestic guy, right? A guy who looks like he only really fought in Germany for the most part, didn't really get out of there. But stylistically, a great fight and a great opportunity. Well, a great dance partner and an
good on
opportunity.
paper.
Right. Not even on paper, right? Just stylistically, a fighter who's going to be there for Ben Whitaker to shine. This was a fight where I think Ben Whitaker was supposed to get rid of this guy very quickly, not play with his food. Going into this fight, Ben Whitaker's earned himself the reputation of being somebody who's a little over entertaining, I'll say, right? Playful in the ring, and people felt like that was going to be an issue for him. He comes off a fight with Liam Cameron where he tries to do his thing in there and ends up pulling him over the top rope. Some people felt like he got out the way early. You know what I'm saying? He got out the way, but in a rematch, stopped Liam Cameron. He's added Andy Lee to his team as well. And we're looking forward to see what he was going to do in this fight here. He gets rid of this guy in the first round, and everybody's saying the same thing. He only did what he was supposed to do, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't understand how that's a bad thing. I thought personally, it's got me excited to see what Ben Whitaker is going to do in the light heavyweight division. I'm ready to see his next fight, but where are you at on it?
Listen, I always knew he was a star. I always seen that he was a star. How far he goes, that's up to him. I mean, that depends on his conditioning and things of that nature. But there's something very important to touch on with Ben Whitaker. The guy is a silver medalist. The guy was in the Olympics. The guy is an Olympic boxer. He has the pedigree. Regardless of how we look at it, this guy has fought the fight. Though he has all those antics that everybody knows him that made him famous with the Prince Nasimis style in the ring at a light heavyweight division, people were like, yo, this guy's entertaining. But when he became when he puts in that Olympic pedigree and he shows that he's a boxer and he ain't got to waste no time getting in and out that ring, he's going to show what he got to do. Now, I'm glad that, you know, people are underestimating him and picking on his career a little bit. They do that with a lot of fighters, but don't all fighters start off in the bottom of the barrel as they're moving up and getting their wins and whatever stacked up, and then they get into better competition and they gradually move in before they get to that championship level? Absolutely. So, I mean, we're watching him grow. I mean, he just moved over to an event. He did a little sellout in his hometown and things of that nature. Listen, man, let the man grow. Let the man get his props. And guess what? If he shocks the world and becomes the best light heavyweight we ever seen, cool. Or the best light heavyweight in this era, cool. If he goes in there and lays an egg against somebody of significance, guess what? He gets back on that horse and starts riding again and try to get back there. It's just a matter of what happens in as he moves forward. That's all. I mean, I have no negative or positive things really to stand on. But I think at the end of the day, Ben Whitaker is a star in the making. I think he can bring a lot to boxing. And I think people are going to be surprised what we get from him. I think he is going to be, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter to me, but I think he will be some significance in the light heavyweight division, and he will be making noise very soon.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm optimistic about what he's going to do in the future. And it's not based off of this performance. I think watching Ben Whitaker, you can see that he's just always been athletically a gifted fighter, man, and he has a great awareness about him inside of that ring, which is where he finds that comfort in fighting the way he does. Right, that's where it comes from. But listen, man, you got to earn the respect in this game. We can't just give it. You know what I mean? So where we might be a little bit more sold than somebody else, I can't fault other people for really still requiring him to show improve inside the ring. But in the division right now, the light heavyweight division seems to be building up. David Benavidez has to look outside the division for his next big fight. Right? He's talking about going to fight Zurdo Ramirez, trying to become unified. He's going to go up 25 plus pounds to go compete up there. I think there's some argument out there as to whether or not he'll return or not. And if you leave it up to the Benavidez family, they said that they'll be back in the light heavyweight division, but still, that's a big jump. He's holding a WBC title, but when you look at the broad landscape of that division right now, you're looking at Dimitri Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, Najee Lopez, Ezra Taylor, Joshua Buatsi, Khalil Cole, Jesse Hart, just to name a few of the light heavyweights up there. Willie Hutchinson, right? Just the guys up there. I think Ben Whitaker adds a nice flair to the division because at a minimum, he's a great dancing partner. And you guys know how I feel about the dancing partners. But on the other side, optimistically speaking, he could be a future champion in the division. And there's great big fights to be made that I would love to see Ben Whitaker involved with. I'd love to see him in there with the Ezra Taylors and the Najee Lopez's. And those guys are building their own legacy for themselves, building their names up, leaving prospect, going into contender conversations. And of course, you got great big litmus tests in the divisions, in the Joshua Buatsis, the Caleb Smiths that are there, the David Morrells that are in the division. So listen, man, I'm excited about what I saw. Not because it was against the best opponent, not because it was a signature fight for him, but I love the poise. I love the way it seems like he's gelling with Andy Lee. I think the potential is got a very, very, very high ceiling. I'll be looking forward to see how that comes together. So let's get into the big conversation, man. Let's get into the big conversation. Shout out to Foreign in the building. Salute. I got Foreign in the building, man, coming over from Fighting Words with Bangs and GHB TV, man. Shout out to all those guys over there, man. Right. But let's get into the elephant in the room, man. Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez is announced officially. I was 95% minimum knowing this fight was coming together, right? But I couldn't fault anybody who was like, yo, it's TEO, and until I hear it's on paper, until I hear it's announced, I'm not doing that. We watched TEO mess up too many negotiations. We've seen him, waste our time trying to make a Terrence Crawford fight, trying to make a Jerron Boots Ennis fight. He went the other way on a Devin Haney fight. He's been on this BS for the past couple of years. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, look, here you go. If you need to see it, it's here now. It's been officially announced. Ring Magazine's announced it. I see it all over on the most credible websites or social media pushing this fight. It's happening. It's going down January 31st in New York. Where are you at on this fight at this point? Can we talk about this fight in real time now?
Yep. And can I just get the horns for this fight real quick? Right. Because it's here, man. It's a banger, bro. Mm-hmm. This just goes to show you that boxing is moving in the right direction. Turkey is solidifying all his dreams and forcing boxing where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the pundits that are being rewarded. I mean, the casuals somewhat, but they'll get there eventually. We'll start getting back to that stage, that global stage with the casual fan base, especially here in the States. But right now, this is where it's at, man. This fight, and I don't know if you looked at like all the other cards, bro. There's like 3 cards on that same day, and this is going to be the card that everybody's going to be watching. It's going to be a mega day in boxing. The 31st.
Yeah, I don't know how that ended up, but I love it because just like you said about with Turkey, the fight inside the ring is one thing, right? But now it looks like the promotional companies are trying to compete with each other, right? They're fighting for the eyes and for the attention on the low radiation. Okay. They're fighting for the attention of of the of us, the fans, which is a great place for us to be in, right? Let's be honest. I love people fighting for our attention, bro, trying to give us the best cards, trying to give us the big fights, and they're fearless. They're scheduling it on the same day. They don't care, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but I'm still sitting here back here thinking about how I'm going to look at these fights, right? How I'm going to watch all these damn fights at the same damn time. I mean, you got Xander Zayas, and Abbas Baharu. You've got Jamal Charlo and Caleb Plant, or Jamal Charlo, excuse me, and Caleb Plant rumored to be on that same day. And of course, the TEO Shakur, and even got Bakram, right, fighting against Josh Kelly, defending his title that day. That's a lot of fighting going on that day, man. I don't know how we're going to digest all of it. But yeah, I agree with you. This is the standout one, in my opinion, though. This one right here clearly is the standout one. I mean, and without an undercard being announced yet, may I add?
And let me tell you, man, this fight to me is just it's had so much promise, and I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of people think this is a Shakur easy win, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to really say something about this. Teofimo is not really the come forward fighter that we like. You know, he seems to have struggles and troubles in that nature. But Teofimo also is a gamer. He's a person that gets off the game plan and makes certain different things happen in that ring. Mm-hmm. He can force his opponents into bad situations. The good thing about this fight is Shakur is a confidence-driven fighter. He's a counterpuncher until he gains confidence and he feels that he's up and he takes risks. Perfect opponent for Teofimo Lopez. And what else does Teofimo Lopez do, Clay, when he's in big fights? He shines. He steps up. He puts on the right dancing shoes and he dances with the opponent in front of him. And he shows us who he is. So with that being said, man, I think this is nothing but fireworks. I think this is nothing but the best fighting the best. The trial and error of two great boxers. Somebody's going to come out the victor. Somebody's going to come out close second, but it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be the opportunity for both fighters to really walk into this arena, or this boxing arena, let's just say, and say, we did this. We made this. You know what I mean? This is no different than the fight we got last month. Unfortunately, it didn't live up to the expectations that a lot of people thought, except for the fact that, I mean, you got some excitement and some unexpected things happening in that ring. But at the same time, boxing is back. This is a great one part of the sport right now. You got a number one at 140 versus a number one at 135. Who would ever guess, bro? This is where it's at, man. This is what champions are made of. That's what I want to go with. That's where I'm landing this plane.
Right. And we'll talk about it. We're going to get deeper into it, obviously, right? Because at the end of the day, the winner of this fight right here, what does he land in the conversation of on the pound for pound list, on the face of boxing, as far as the American boxing space is concerned? Man, American boxing is starting to culminate. We got this new changing of the guard happening. I keep talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it, right? You got the new champions. You got the Xander Zayases of the game. You got the Abdullah Mason, who just was crowned WBO champion. And, of course, Devin Haney, I was going to say redemption, but I'm going to say resurrection to a certain degree, because he almost kind of lost it all a little bit, and he's returned back in spades, right? The way he performed against Brian Norman Jr., now a champion at 147, really inspiring the division to just come alive now, where Oscar De La Hoya had to put Ryan Garcia in position to try to get him to become a champion. This is why Conor Benn wants to come down from 160 and compete in the division. The division is just picking up, and American boxing seems to be gathering itself up, right? It's beginning to build itself up. 2026 is lining up to be a huge year for American boxing, a return in so many ways for American boxing. Even with the Dana White TKO Zuffa boxing situation, it's still a big American boxing show out, right? A big shootout of fighters coming up and getting a chance to put their names in these conversations. So right. Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson coming together right now on the back end of a victory for either one of these guys. These guys are pound for pound fighters, yes or no?
Oh yeah, both of them. I think this will elevate Teofimo, win, lose, or draw, to be recognized as a pound for pound fighter regardless. He's done it. I mean, he started at 35. Has he moved to 147 yet? No. But he started at 135. He conquered there. just shy of one belt. Then he moved up and he became the lineal champion. So he's a 2-division lineal champion fighter. And I think Teofimo has that. He loves that ring belt. That's like his goal, to carry the ring belt at the next level as well. So this puts him in a good place, his fight. How does he move forward with that? Again, that all depends. What's up, Just Do? Peace, peace, peace. That gives him something to look forward to going forward, because the WBO is on the line, and that actually puts you right in line with the champion. That's the WBO champion over at 147 if you decide to take that route, where it's a money fight for both fighters. A lot of history with both fighters, whether it be friend or foe. We do want to mention that. But on the other hand, we have Shakur Stevens, who's definitely already on the pound for pound and proved that he belongs on the pound for pound. Did nothing but success on the pound for pound and has lived up to every expectation besides the one bump in the road, which people criticized him for the performance with De Los Santos. But going forward, we've seen that Shakur has proven to the world that he's not a runner. He's not a coward. He'll stand there, he'll fight if he has to, but this is the way he fights, and y'all gonna like it or leave it. And he's going back to what he's doing, and he proved to the world that he can stay in the pocket. He can stay in front of a fighter. So we will see, Clay, how this plays out. We will probably see all these guys that were at this division, and because the comrades or the potential opponents of another fighter that was there that no one got to fight, all on the pound for pound list at one point or another, all together at the same time. So this has a lot of stakes on it, and this actually puts us in a great position for boxing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Man. But what are the outliers in this fight here, man? I mean, we got Shakur Stevenson. I think the big thing when you think about Shakur Stevenson right now, as far as the cons, as far as what's going to get in his way, as far as adversity is concerned, is obviously those hands, right? Shakur Stevenson's hands, where they're going to be in this fight, going to make a big difference on what he's capable of doing. But one thing he's shown is whether the hands are bad or whether they're good, one thing he's more than capable of doing is winning fights one way or the other. How exciting the fight is and what kind of showcase we're going to see from him is going to be depending on those hands. Shakur Stevenson moving up to 140 pounds. This will be, I believe, his first 140-pound fight that he'll be fighting. And of course, there's a body that showed its ugly face in the Valdez fight. We know that he can be a little sensitive to the body at times. This is something that if Teofimo Lopez builds a strategy, which is one of his downfalls, is being Teofimo Lopez being somebody who doesn't come in with a lot of strategy. He can make the adjustments because he's athletically blessed, right? He can move around and do things and adjust to what's going on in the ring. But as far as following a strategy and being disciplined and being poised, is that something that Teofimo Lopez has always done? You know what I mean? I don't know. It depends on how you want to look at it. He's not a front foot type of fighter. Both these guys like to fight off that back foot, right? They like to counterpunch, wait for you to do something, capitalize off your mistakes. Both these guys like to fight that way. Who's going to cross that line to make this fight what it is? I mean, I always say that the judges see these fighters winning and it looking a certain way. So I think Shakur Stevenson being on his back foot to a certain degree, being the counterpuncher, that's the way they're used to seeing him be. If the fight looks like that, this is going to be a hard fight for judges to really judge, being that both these guys have similar attributes when it comes to that. But the athleticism is going to be a big thing for Teofimo Lopez, that explosive energy he brings to the table, the boxer puncher. We got to talk about the power as well. It hasn't been translating at 140? Not that I could tell, right? So is that something that's really going to play its part in this one right here? You know what I mean? And will Teofimo be able to rise to the moment? Because that's what everybody says about him, right? That he competes to the level of his opponents. Well, this is going to be the top level creme de la creme of opponent that he's been in the ring with, outside of maybe a Vasily Lomachenko. Does he rise to the moment on this one here? Shakur brings the defense, right? One of the most defensive fighters in the game. One of the hardest to hit fighters in the game, in a ring IQ that is just, the face of boxing, pound for pound, number one fighter in the world, Terrence Crawford, speaks highly of his pedigree, as well as retired Hall of Fame fighter Andre Ward speaks highly of him. Floyd Mayweather speaks highly of him. Anybody who's ever seen Shakur Stevenson box on a professional level or seen him spar have spoken about how high of a level of a fighter he is. What do you think the most standout thing is going to be in this fight between Teofimo and Shakur?
If Teofimo is going to do what he did with Barbosa and use the jab as he moves, if he has to be fighting forward. Usually he stands, he kind of just keeps it in the ring, uses he doesn't really use the jab much, but he used it a lot with Barbosa, put him off guard, kept that guy at a stalemate, and showed some type of power to keep that man at bay, to keep him from walking forward. Because Barbosa was the bigger fighter. He didn't want no part of Teofimo's jabs or punches as they came through. But the standout in this fight to me is actually going to be who can, and this is funny, I say this almost every fight, but this is actually the truth. Definitely in this one, who's going to break their will, come out of their game plan, and who's going to fight the other person's fight. That's what's going to come. It's a chess match. It's who's going to be the person, because Teofimo also freestyle, so it's his freestyle set Shakur up in moments and catches him in situations, maybe, possibly. But the Shakur stay disciplined enough to know that he does have these tendencies of breaking out of his game plan and trying to force people into fights and these ugly counters and exchanges. That's what it comes down to. They both have good, I think, footwork. Is it equal? No, but close. And the reason why I say that is because it's hard. It's really this is really a tough fight to really analyze, man. There's a lot of similarities, but differences. I don't know, bro. I really don't know, Clay. I think what the standout is, it's going to be the will. That's what I'm saying.
I definitely agree about that jab. I think the jab is going to play is going to be an important part of this fight right here. He who controls the jab. Listen, man. I mean, on paper, I think it's easy to say that Shakur Stevenson is the favorite to win this fight, in my opinion. Right? I think he just brings more intangibles to the ring. They got to be honest with themselves in there. Right. Teofimo has to be himself. Shakur has to be himself. If somebody comes in there trying to prove something and ends up operating outside their comfort zone to show that they're versatile and they can do whatever, it can go bad for either one of these guys. Shakur is going to have to tame the potential beast. The explosive power, well, not power, but the explosive athleticism that Teofimo Lopez brings in there is going to, in my opinion, mean Shakur is going to have to be more poised and take his time and be patient and respect the pedigree that's in front of him. That being said, Shakur is great at selecting his shots. Very good and a very good, accurate puncher. He loves to attack the body properly. That helps with a lot of that athleticism, all that explosive energy. If Shakur can get him on his back foot, dealing with that, I think that, believe it or not, I think the guy who's going to be pushing the pace in here is probably going to be
hard to tell you, right? You think about it, could go either way.
The guy who's pushing the pace is probably going to be the guy who loses to a degree, I want to say. And I know it's crazy to say that, right? But both these guys are counterpunchers. Right. But to win this fight, you're going to have to take these rounds one round at a time. You're going to have to win these rounds.
Right.
You can't just hang around. But at the same time, you don't want to just go attacking Teofimo Lopez. And you definitely don't want to go and attack Shakur Stevenson. You want to box, but you also want this to be a fight when it needs to be a fight. This fight is, in my opinion, very close to 50-50 just because the intelligence of both these guys. It's not going to be like, let's say, the Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. fight, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be a fight where both these guys are going to be very reserved and they're going to take their times. And there's a lot on the line here for these guys. So that Tom and Jerry rule and trying to be exciting for the audience, I don't think that's going to be the priority for these guys, trying to entertain the crowd as much. They want to walk away with the win. They understand on the back end of a victory here, this is a huge deal for either one of these guys. It's going to be about who is allowed to be themselves in there, because somebody's going to have to jump out their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to have to make a move. If somebody gets down, whoever gets down on the cards, they're going to have to make the power move. They're going to have to take the risk and make it happen. I think there's an argument there to say it's probably going to be on TEO to make this fight something else in order for him to win, because Shakur knows how to manage that situation. And the judges know Shakur and how he looks in there when he's winning. Teofimo's been the one who's been kind of inconsistent in that ring as far as what he does. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think as we get closer to become a little bit more clear, but you got Terrence Crawford. I think that corner is going to play a large part of it, because I do think that that Teofimo Lopez and his father have shown some dysfunction a lot before, where Teofimo, there's an argument there to say that Teofimo Lopez fights the way he does inside that ring because he doesn't really listen to his father like that. So is he going to have to dial in and listen to his father? Is his father going to be enough? Does his father bring the know-how and the experience to really guide Teofimo Lopez to a victory over a Shakur Stevenson? What do you think about that?
No, I don't think he does that. I think they actually bring someone else in from the outside, definitely to feel the presence of moving forward. They work together pretty well, again, with the Barbosa fight. They actually, he kind of listened to his dad a lot in that fight. But, again, I think Teofimo finds himself in situations where he feels he has to take it and become the boxer. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we see many boxers do that because skills pay the bills, number one. And sometimes, even with Abdullah Mason in his recent fight, sometimes your team's not in the ring with you. And though they say that this may work, you can see the guys definitely, the opponents not falling for what's in the plan. So you have to make the modifications to do what you got to do to win a fight because, as they call the audible, right? They call the audible. So he will have to call the audible this fight. I definitely believe that. And then once he feels, if he feels ever, and I'm not going to say once, I'm going to actually correct myself. If he ever feels that he has the advantage or any type of ability of winning this fight, you'll see him calm down, go back to some type of game plan and try to force that fight into his hands. On the other hand, Shakur ain't no easy task, bro. I don't think TEO, I'm not going to say wins or loses, but I think he's going to be, he's going to have to be game for this fight. He's going to have to have some type of game plan and focus on that plan as much as he can. Let the fight come to him, not try to do too much. And I think that's where we really have to see, because again, no, I don't see TEO really sticking to the plan just to get to that point as much as you said, as people won't want to say. There you go. My bad.
Yeah, I mean,
almost went off the deep end. My bad. I was about to break
really. You're right on point, man. Listen, man, I think that's going to be a big question on this one right here. Also, I think that might be the wild card. It's going to be that corner work. It's going to be that relationship that Shakur has with his grandfather, and also going to be, Terrence is going to be right outside that ring, right? And he's going to be screaming at Shakur Stevenson. He's going to be telling him stuff that he's seeing. Shakur has a better supporting cast, right? He has the support. Keyshawn's going to be there. Terrence is going to be there. Maybe Bomac might be outside the ring. Wally will be there standing in the corner. They'll be helping him prepare for this fight. Whereas Teofimo Lopez, this is going to be a big testament to him in his corner. And I'll be honest with you, as I'm talking about and as I'm thinking about it, it's going to be that corner to me. I think that's going to be the intangible. It's going to be that corner work. What do you think about that? You think that could be like a legitimate intangible in this one? Nope.
I think it comes down to the ring. I think it comes down to them. I think the corner. I think for Shakur, I think the corner is going to be right there. But then once Shakur feels like he's close, and he kind of like, he falls back. He takes a lot of that in. But I think again, I think TEO breaks the game plan early. I think he starts running into some adverse moments where he has to come off that game plan to try to make something happen. He's going to. There's no way in the world you're going to try to hit a guy that's almost unhittable, bro. Like, there's no way. You're going to have to come off a plan. If you have a strategy, you better find the right person to train you for that strategy, right? Because there's no way you're going to be able to stick to anything else except for what you train for if you have that in mind. If he doesn't have that in mind, bro, he's going to have to he's going to get frustrated. He's going to come out that game plan. Like I said, he's going to have to try to win it on his own will and then fall back into the game plan if he gains control of the fight. That's the only way I see that happening. I don't think the corner plays so much in TEO's favor as it would in Shakur. But then, like I said, Shakur sometimes gets a little too comfortable and he falls off the game plan. because he wants to make the fight more active and more action packed. So he'll get in there, he'll start doing some stuff to try to like maybe body work, maybe he'll throw some harder shots. He'll stay in the front a little bit just so he can kind of make the fight more interesting, in my opinion, and puts himself at risk. So with a fighter like TEO, he can't do that. But that's crazy though. I'm really seeing all this play out in my head. But
yeah, me too. As I'm talking about it, that's what's happening to me as well. And man, I don't know, man. I think that corner is going to play a point factor, man. I think the ability to adjust and see what's happening in that ring. I see HLD says that he believes that Teofimo Sr. is a better trainer, or than Wally Moses. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been.
Yeah, you just never know.
Hands, bro.
I think Shakur is the more talented guy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of like having a Jordan on your team. Are you really the better coach? I don't know, but I think he might be easier to coach. It might be a lot easier to work with, you know what I'm saying, to having a talent like that than to have somebody who doesn't have the ability to execute on a game plan all the way. If Teofimo's instinct is going to be to go rogue inside that ring when Shakur is giving him these different looks and drop the game plan, how valuable is his, the corner is only as valuable as the fighter who's willing to take the corner's advice. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the corner could be as great as they want to be, but if the fighter's instinct is to go against the grain, then we might be dealing with different issues going into that fight, man.
I agree.
Right? It's just one of those situations where it's going to be all dependent. I haven't said it, and I don't think I need to say it, but I'll say it. If you are in the building, take your time to go ahead and hit that like button. I appreciate the support. Let's support the channel. Subscribe to the channel as well. Very important. Subscribe to the channel. Show some love to the channel as well. Take a moment to go ahead and do that. This fight right here just has all the markings on it, man. And we can only talk it on a light way right now, and I plan on doing my film study on this one, obviously, as well, trying to see the signature fights that are going to make the difference. The triangle theory is not a theory I really bet on all the time, but I do like to see what the instincts are. I think there's a good chance also you can see what do you think the chances of Shakur Stevenson being offensive in this fight, walking down a Teofimo? You know what I'm saying? Like, bringing it to what do you think about that?
Highly. I think the Zepeda fight made him mentally stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's to a certain point. Like I said, I think it becomes more towards the middle of the fight. If he feels that he has any type of control, I think that's a very high percentage. Mm-hmm. But I also think that's dangerous for him. I think he needs to control the pace of this fight. He needs to control the output of Teofimo Lopez and the connections. If he does feel like he feels like he can take the front foot, he's going to set himself up for a potential failure, because Teofimo lives off your mistakes. He lives off you moving forward into his lane. So I think Shakur does take the initiative, though. I really do. I think he rages forward first, and I think once he realizes that TEO can capitalize, he plays the normal Shakur role at that point, and I think Teofimo will try to bait him back into that, and it will never happen. And you'll see Teofimo trying to move forward on Shakur and make that be possibly the way the fight goes. But I don't know. I'm not going to say who wins or loses yet. I'm just saying what the potentials are, and what I see in this fight is crazy. It reminds me of a Sugar Shane Mosley. I'm trying to think of a good opponent to put in. You had a couple of fighters there I can actually really think of. I want to say the Floyd and Sugar Shane fight. You have a guy that's really slick, very dangerous, can be right in front of you. He's a good fighter, pound for pound great, against a pound for pound number one, potentially. And one guy's going to force you to fight his fight. And I think they'll take a stalemate in the beginning of the first 2 rounds. I think they'll both stand in the middle of the ring. And then from there, it changes. We'll see how that flow changes. And then it goes from there. That's literally how I kind of see this fight, man. It's crazy to say that, but I can't think of any 2 slick fighters that have been in the ring at the same time that have a similar style like that besides them 2, which is crazy. But
yeah,
I get that vibe.
there's some people who believe that this fight is going to be boring because of the counter-punching nature of both these guys, and that can kind of become a stalemate at times. When we saw Terrence Bud Crawford and Israel Madrimov fight, I think back to that fight where Madrimov decided to be the counter-puncher, right? And we already knew Terrence Crawford was going to be the counter-puncher, so it did get to a point where the fight, for the first couple of rounds, it was very... right? It was very like, damn, this thing is just not taking off. And it gave Terrence Crawford issues. But one thing Terrence Crawford was able to do was adjust in that fight. And ultimately, when it came down to it, he became offensive, right? When he saw Madrimov wasn't going to be that guy, that he was going to be the counterpunch and the irky-jerky guy, Crawford took the steering wheel, right? He took the driver side and led the fight, led the dance, right? And pushed the pace and got himself a victory that way. I'm looking, I think Shakur's on that same time. I don't think he's going to allow this fight to, I don't think Shakur's going to allow this fight to get away from him because of inactivity. Teofimo Lopez, I've seen him put his hands in his pockets before, just being honest. Right. You know what I mean? I've seen him go for it, try against Jermaine Ortiz, and then decide, you know, damn, bro, this dude is really just moving around and just get frustrated. I've seen him put his hands in his pockets with Arnold Barbosa, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Sandor Martin.
With Sandor Martin, put his hands in his pockets. I've seen him do it. So if he gets frustrated and he feels like he can't best Shakur Stevenson in that cerebral warfare, is the mental aspect of this game going to play a big role in this fight? You know what I mean? The mental strength of both these fighters, is that going to show up in this fight and be a big determining factor on how this fight goes?
I think so, man. I think Shakur just, again, it's just every time he has a really pound for pound or top opponent, he rises, bro. Pause. He rises to the occasion. He steps in that ring and he becomes a different fighter. I think he just fights to the competition. And I think this is going to bring a different Teofimo to that ring. I think we're going to get, like I said, I think we're going to get fireworks, man. It's a hard fight to really pick at the moment because of the history of the fights and the way they've gone, based on opportunity that the fighters had in front of them. And I think Shakur has, like I said, I think he has proven to be more of a master of the square circle, where Teofimo has been more of a showman of the square circle. You know what I mean? Just say, like, I have a director and I have a, I don't want to use director. I have a stunt double and I have the star. Let's look at it that way. And I think we got both of those trying to applying for the same role on a stage in Broadway of New York. So I think that's what it is, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. This is going to be a great fight, man. This is going to be a great fight. I'm really excited. I'm obviously we're just taking it in right now. As the weeks go by, I'm looking forward to the press conference. I'm looking forward to the undercard to see what's going on. Shout out to Adult Choice in the building with the $2, man. Easy fight. Another Terrence Crawford versus Canelo fight.
Okay. I mean, maybe young Canelo. I don't think Canelo.
Right. That's what I was about to say. This Canelo was a little bit kind of like a little bit more reserved, I think. Would that have been the same Canelo, the guy who fought Terrence Crawford? I mean, Floyd Mayweather? No. Is that the same one who fought the Miguel Cotto, the Shane Mosleys, the Triple Gs? No, I don't think that was that same Canelo. That was a little bit of a different Canelo. But, and I say that just to say that I believe that Teofimo's still in his prime. You know what I'm saying? This is a Teofimo who has a lot to fight for, and he has a lot on the line. I expect him to bring his A game to the table. I'm noticing very humble Teofimo Lopez in these interviews. I just saw him inside the ring, very humble, very laid back. He's taking this very seriously. He's worked hard to get into this position. You know what I'm saying? He almost lost a lot of opportunity just based off of a lot of the antics and the sidebar activities he was doing outside the ring that kind of derailed him a little bit. He's getting a real opportunity now to get a really big fight against Shakur Stevenson. And I expect for him to try his best to take advantage of it. I can't lie to you. I'm leaning towards Shakur at this point to win this fight, man. I just think he just brings those intangibles in there that I don't know how Teofimo is going to deal with it. I think the cornering is going to play a big role in this one. I think when Shakur gets out of pocket, he has a corner that he's going to go to that's going to speak to him and he's going to listen. When Teofimo gets into a situation, is he going to listen to Senior? Is he going to dial in and execute what Senior's telling him to do, or is he going to go in there and wing it? And how does that look? I think against a Shakur Stevenson, that winging it shit's out the window. That's just not the way you want to go about shit. You want to have
I'm
a
not
game
going
plan
this
strategy.
fight yet, man. I can't because I can see Teofimo giving Shakur fits, like almost like a De Los Santos, like Shakur underestimating the speed, underestimating the power, the honest power, I should say, of Teofimo Lopez. But I can also see Shakur situationally being smart, using the ring IQ, out maneuvering Teofimo Lopez. Also, it depends on Shakur's hands. Does he hurt his hands in this fight at any point? That's a big part of this. That plays the biggest role and the biggest part. So until that fight happens, bro, I'm on the fence. I'm being honest with you. I don't know because I run a lean towards Shakur, like you're saying. But I'm just like, yo, Teofimo has surprised me when the chips are down, he gambles on himself and he pulls it out, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah, ain't nothing to apologize about. I mean, these are two great fighters, bro. Like, listen, bro, this isn't black and white, man.
This is why we got the fight, right?
Yeah, this is a great. I'm actually trying. I think I'm gonna try to get out to this one, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Now this is one of the advantages of me switching up the way I work now. I got the weekends off, so this might be one of the fights that I make it out to. Nah, man, I'm not tripping at all, man. I hear you, bro. Like, Teofimo could definitely win this fight, 100%. J Pitt City in the building says Janet Beck switched trainers this year. All of a sudden, pops hot. Shake my head.
What you say?
Yeah.
Eddie Reynoso, is that what you said? No, I'm kidding. Now, let me not throw that out there, y'all. I'm just joking.
Listen, man, Janet Beck is not the trainer. Maybe it's a trainer to a certain degree, but Janet Beck's been. I think Janet Beck staying at 160 too long is the issue. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what the problem is. Him staying in that division too long and him having to obviously compromise some of his morals to compete at a high level in that division. You know what I mean?
Right. Can I address this real quick? It's no big deal. I just want to address why I keep bringing up De Los Santos to this point. Because of the speed that Shakur was not expecting from De Los Santos. That doesn't mean that he lost or anything of that nature. He was caught off by the speed in the whiff of the power of De Los Santos. It definitely, everybody's seen it. I mean, if you didn't see it, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not saying that he lost the fight. I'm not saying De Los Santos won the fight. I'm just saying sometimes when you don't expect certain things and you go into something certain ways and it happens, bro, it can catch you off guard. And I think De Los Santos definitely caught him off guard. And I think Teofimo has a similar footwork and patterns. He knows how to cut off the ring. Well, I don't know if he knows that. I mean, not go there. But he knows how to get in front of the fighters, is what I should say, and make a fight happen. And he's very quick. People underestimate the speed of Teofimo Lopez. He has gotten a lot of knockouts based on that, bro. I'm not being disrespectful to Shakur, De Los Santos, or Teofimo. I'm just bringing the facts to the table, bro.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think you know where I'm at with that fight. I think that fight is just a hard fight to truly judge Shakur Stevenson because I believe he was injured. And, you know what I mean, in that fight. And I think that made a big difference on what he was capable of doing physically. I think he was very reserved. You know what I'm saying? He was very, very, very reserved on how he approached that fight right there. So yeah, it's just hard for me to take that fight and use it as a litmus test for anything.
Right. Really. And I'm gonna speak to what you just said because the same thing was just said, right? And I agree. He was hurt by him mentioning that, right? But there's also a statement that I got from Clay that told me you had time to move the fight. If you were hurt, you shouldn't have made the fight. You climbed through those ropes. You assessed your opponent, and it still didn't. And being hurt or not, you still realized the risk that De Los Santos had. That's not a knock on Shakur. He got out the way. He was able to move and avoid the big shots from De Los Santos. I'm just saying that he may be surprised at the speed like he was with De Los Santos. That's just a comparison of the nature of the opponent in front of him. That doesn't mean that he lost or he won. It doesn't matter if he was hurt or not. That still doesn't make a difference on what shocked him and what made him look like, oh, shoot, yo, this guy punch. He said it himself. He's like, yo, this dude, what'd he say, Clay? What's up, Punch Drunk? What'd he say, Clay? He's like, yo, he was faster than I thought. So he said it himself. So it's not me speaking on it. This man said it himself in the interview after the fight. You know what I mean? So I'm good with that, but it's okay, man. Teach your own, brother.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not there. I think he was injured. You know what I'm saying? So, And
he got in the ring, right?
No, he got in the ring, but
Okay.
What I'm being honest about is to say that at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's not about excuses, right? What it is am I counting on an injured Shakur Stevenson to show up against Teofimo Lopez? Because if he was injured in that fight, then does a healthy Shakur Stevenson perform the way he did that night with Edwin De Los Santos?
We don't know.
I think that's easy to say no, right? I think that most people would say no. You can
Did
hold
he
him
hurt his hand in
accountable.
that fight is the question. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Again, we don't know all the answers to this. I'm just keeping it.
Wait, what'd you say? What?
I said, did he even hurt his hand in that fight? Because he hit it awkward with that left hand too, but he said his left hand was hurting before the fight, right? Or his shoulder or something he hurt in training.
It was his shoulder and his hand.
Yeah, he said he hurt his hand.
I mean, but
I don't know, bro. Like I said, I'm not here to debate it. I was just making.
No, you said something. Hold on. You asked a question. You asked me, was his hand hurt in that fight? Did he say his hand was hurt in that fight?
Okay. Well, Earl said that he was.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm saying, yeah, he did. Right.
All right then. So it's one of two things. He's lying, which you're free to call him a liar if that's how you feel about it. That he's lying.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying. If we have his testimony, we have Bob Aaron's testimony that he went into this fight with injuries.
Mm-hmm. But he said it was his
You're
shoulder.
still asking if that was true or not. You're saying, is that true, right?
No, I'm just saying Bob reported his shoulder, and so did Michael, whatever.
Are you questioning whether his hand was hurt in that fight?
No, because that's not.
So why did you ask that? Why did you say was his hand hurt?
Why would I ask that? Because I also asked you, did he get in the ring? I said he said his hand was hurting. That's not me to be the judge of that, Clay. The point is that fight is over and beyond. We're talking about.
He hurt his hand in that
fight. We're moving the conversation.
You didn't ask that?
Why what?
Did you ask about 5 minutes ago? Did he hurt his hand in that fight?
Right. I said, did he hurt it in that fight? But hold on, what did I say in the same sentence? I said, did he hurt it? I said, did he hurt it in that fight, or did he come into it with that fight? I don't know, is what I said.
Okay, so then I asked you, what did Shakur say?
And I said, and you said, and I said what? He said his hand was hurt, right? He said his hand was hurt.
So you are acknowledging that Shakur gave
I went by that
update as to what the conditions of his hands were in that fight, right?
And I said that, and I did agree to that. So where are we going?
All right, no. So let's take it step by step. I'm just saying, take your time, because if he said, you're aware, right? Before I said that to you, you're aware that he said his hand was hurt, right?
After the fight, yes, he did say it.
Okay, all right. You're not supposed to say before the fight. What would that look like, right? So but today, on December 2nd, 2025, you are aware, before I said this to you, that Shakur Stevenson has confirmed, and the people around him confirmed, that he went into that fight with a hand injury, right?
Correct.
All right. He put out x-rays, as far as you know, that he's saying were his hands in that fight, right?
I don't know, bro. Listen, timelines are everything. I don't know.
Somebody help me in the chat.
Hold on. I'm not going. See, now we're digging a deeper hole. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, bro. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
Believe him?
You asked me.
Don't you believe him? Because you just said.
When did I say I didn't believe him?
I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so if I told you this, I said this twice now. I never said I didn't believe him. None of those words ever came. I don't believe him. Me questioning something was in conversation to say it did or it didn't. I don't know. If I don't know, that doesn't mean I believe or don't believe somebody. I'm giving a reason to a conversation that I was having on something totally different. Okay, somebody else brought up the hands, and I'm answering that question about he came in there with his hands. That's how that got to the point of me talking about the hands, bro. I'm telling you, Clay, you're trying to bring me into something that I'm not going into. We're going to leave this alone, bro. I'm not going down this rabbit hole. I know what you try to do. You're not exposing me. You're not going to make me look stupid online, bro. It ain't happening. I'm telling you right now. No,
I wouldn't be so concerned with looking. However,
I'm telling you what I said. I don't know. If I don't know, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't the person examining. I wasn't the person that came in the ring with him. I didn't take the x-rays after or before the fight. I don't know none of this.
All right, but okay, so once again, just to ask you the question, just to be clear, because I want to be clear.
All right, I want to be clear too.
Do you believe Shakur or not?
Do I believe him? I have no choice but to believe him, right?
No, you have a choice.
Based on the evidence that was presented.
You don't have to believe him.
Based on the evidence that was presented, I have no choice but to say he did or he wasn't, right? I have to say, yeah, he said his hand was hurt, and I got to go by that. I have to take him for a man of his word. If it wasn't, it wasn't. That's on him. He got to live with that, not me. That has nothing to do with me. Stop asking me what I believe.
No, well, you said you asked the question.
It has nothing to do with that.
You're at CC. Here we go. Johnny Thunder's in the building. He says the evidence was BS. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do. You stand on your business, but I think you're trying to
hold on. You're trying to tell me I didn't stand on business.
You insinuated something, right?
No, I answered the question. Everybody here watch me read and respond to a question in the chat, Clay. It was not me making an insinuation. This is me responding to somebody in the chat.
Me and you were talking here, right?
But right.
You said
I asked. Hold on, I asked.
Was his hands hurt in the fight? Is that what you said?
To the chat. I said, was his hands hurt? And I said afterward, continue.
And then
you living on. And I said, I said what? I said he said they were, right? I said, but was it before or after he got in the ring? And I said, I don't know. I clearly said that, Clay. I don't know. Clearly said that. But if that's what we're going to do, Clay, go on, man. Let's do it.
Because you know I'll pull up the video. I'll pull it up. So I just want to be clear. I don't want to have to pull it up, right? But that's not what you said. I'm going to let you know that's not what you said. What you said was you questioned it. You questioned it. And you questioned it. And I don't got no problem with you questioning it. I don't care if you question it. So
I don't care either.
Because
what are we trying to get? So what's the point then? If you don't care, why are we talking about it?
No, the reason we're talking about it is because the narrative.
What narrative
is? If you don't, because we're talking about his performance with Edwin De Los Santos, right?
Right.
I'm saying that the performance was based off of a performance where his hands were compromised.
And I'm saying that doesn't matter.
Okay. Wait, hold on. It does matter because you can't judge him. You can't judge a healthy-handed Shakur Stevenson with a messed up hand Shakur Stevenson.
Okay.
You just can't do it, bro. It's like saying you're in a race. It's like you're legitimately in a race, right? You're in a race. You're a track runner, right?
Okay.
And you go into the race with a bad knee, right?
So do I judge Tank for taking a knee because he had hair grease in his eye?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about. So listen, right? You're in a race, right? You got a bad knee. In that race, you lose the race. There's no excuses because you decide to come and race and you lost. But there's a reason. You had a bad knee. Would somebody be smart to judge your ability to win that same race again with a good knee and judge you based on what happened with a bad knee? It's your knee.
I mean, when did I hurt my knee is what I'm saying.
If I tell you,
if I told you it happened before,
I went into the fight with a bad knee. I went into the race with a bad knee.
Okay.
That's confirming.
And that's afterwards, right? That's not during the fight. That's not before the fight, right? Does it sound like an excuse or not?
Bro, I don't know. I'm trying to be clear with you, bro.
I'm trying to be clear too, because I'm trying to understand where you're going with this. Because I'm not saying anything.
Let me make it clear for you because I want to give you an opportunity to have. I don't want you to be misunderstood. I want you to be understood, right? Because you said something. So I'm just trying to hold you to it. I'm being honest, right? Shakur Stevenson and his team confirmed that there was an injury going into the fight. This was confirmed. Going into the fight, he had an injury. He didn't drop the fight because he knew it was for a WBC title. It was a big opportunity. He didn't want to let go of the opportunity. He had to go in there. He chose to go in there and fight the way he did, right? And because of that, he didn't engage as much as everybody wanted him to. But he confirmed, because you're sitting here playing this, did this happen? Did that happen? And I'm sitting here telling you.
So here's your confirmation.
He confirmed to you exactly how it happened. You are aware of Shakur Stevenson and his team's version of what that hand injury was going into that fight. You're aware of it. There's no question there.
Okay.
If you're questioning it, is because you're not believing what he said. You're not in the dark.
True. That's not true.
So how are you questioning something he told you what it is?
Because
you
asked me, hold on, you asked me a question. So let me answer this real quick. So let me explain. Let's go down memory lane here. This has nothing to do with my thoughts or anything of this nature. Let's be clear. What the question was matter of fact, let me scroll up because I want to go with what I answered to homie. He said he had a hand injury and whatever. And I said, okay, I know you're going there, right? And I said, but that never stopped him from getting in the ring. I don't know if he hurt his hand before or after the fight. Can you say he hurt his hand during the fight or not? You said his team gave him what? He said his team gave him x-rays or whatever. Bob Arum said this, whatever, right? And I said, well, Bob Arum said it was a shoulder initially, and so did that Michael, whatever that dude name is, right? At that point, right? So now, hold on, let's be clear. The dude said his stomach was hurting. He ate something and sent the picture to his baby mama. I don't care about that, right? There's a shitload of excuses. But if I'm not mistaken, in that press conference, he told that dude he was going to beat the glasses off him. He told that dude he was going to stop him. He told a lot of stuff. So a guy with an injured hand, I don't think talks like that, right? But at the same time, he showed evidence of an injured hand after the fight. I don't know if he heard it after, before, whatever. He said he heard it in camp. I have to believe him because that's what he said. Right? He did what he did. He said that's what it was. But then I have to take all consideration of every fighter that gave a reason of why certain things happen in fight and have to take them on their word of it, regardless of what the takes were. When this dude said he had hair grease in his eye, do I have to take him on his word? Yeah, because he said he did it, right? The girl said he didn't do it, but that's what it was, right? When Earl Spence said he had a broken rib and he was running up the mountain, he was winded, or whatever the case may be, and he had cataract surgery he needed before the fight, but he took the fight. He did it, but these were excuses. My point is, it's not about the excuse, Clay. The point I was trying to make is a comparison with Teofimo Lopez being a quick fighter and being able to get inside and make Shakur think about the punch that's coming, as opposed to De Los Santos doing the same thing. That's all this is about. I don't know how the hell we got on Shakur Stevenson and his hands being injured and moving it way over there when I said, no, excuse me, almost choked on my gum. When I said, yo, we don't need to go there because this is not the topic. I'm making a statement that's clearly, okay, y'all can say whatever y'all want. Okay, if it's an excuse, it's an excuse. What's the excuse?
The excuse for me is very simple. You put out a narrative.
Like what? Tell me the narrative.
You questioned, in my opinion,
Okay, opinion. Very clear. Your opinion.
You're not going to let me speak. I see you're going to try to talk over me.
You said your opinion. I just want to make sure everybody understands it's your opinion.
I'm going to speak my opinion because that's all I got, right? This is what I heard you say. And by what you said, it would lead people to question the integrity of Shakur Stevenson and his team, because they put out as much proof as they could as to what it was. People spoke about his hand being swollen. They took pictures of him in the back, you know what I'm saying, with his hand being hurt. Bob Arum put out an official statement about his injury status. He put out x-rays showing that his hand was messed up. He ended up not even making his next fight because he had to have surgery. He hurt his hand. He ended up having to have surgery. He had hand issues. What do you shake your head no?
He fought a fight after that. He fought Arthur.
Right. He did fight Arthur, but he hurt his hand again in that fight, right?
Other hand, by the way.
Okay, fine. So, I mean, look, you're giving a lot of reasons as to why what he said is not necessarily true. It's not a big deal one way or the other. My thing is stand on what you're saying. Right?
I just don't care. The point is
100% okay. The mere fact that you said it's the opposite hand shows how much scrutiny you've given the situation, right? Listen,
too much into
it's
this,
clear.
Bro.
It's clear. Everybody can see it, and I don't think it's a big deal, right?
Listen, I don't care what people
think the
say.
big deal is that you want to say it, but you want to hide your hand.
I'm not.
You want to say
Listen,
you're not.
if I wanted to say Shakur was ducking, I would say, or ran from this dude, I would say it. I'm not saying that, bro. So I'm telling you, listen, because you opened up Pandora's box to something that has nothing to do with nothing.
All right, so what did you mean?
What I am saying, and I'm going to be clear again. What I am saying, Clay, is that people have speculated. This stuff has all been in the media and all in the news and everything. Okay. People had their different opinions and thoughts. I am talking about all these things that came about. I am not talking about what I think or you think. And when I asked you a question, it was based on what I was responding to in the chat. It has nothing
What
to
were
do
you responding to?
with,
what did they say in the chat?
Oh my God.
I'm asking you, what did they say in the chat?
Let me go look it up.
I mean, just tell me what you.
I'm going to look it up so I can say word for word.
You got to find.
All right, here it goes. He says, "Hold on, now that's not it. I got to go up. Hold on."
Mm-hmm.
It was before Punch Drunk came in. Okay, yeah, Shakur only had one hand, right? Is that not what he said? And I was responding to that from Roger. That.
Okay.
That's what. And I was responding to that, and I said, "Are we sure he only had one hand?" I said, "Did he hurt it before or after the fight? I mean, during the fight. We don't know. He got in that ring, as Clay would say, because you started saying that. I said, Clay, look, he said the same thing. He got in that ring either way, so we don't know. That's what I said. Well, I said, I don't know, not we. I said, I don't know. That just means it is what it is. I don't really care either way. I'm just making a comparison to Teofimo Lopez and the speed that he brings into this fight and the dangers that he brings to this fight, as I've seen with the speed and the dangers that De Los Santos brought to that fight that shocked Shakur and caught him off guard. That's all I'm speaking to. All that other rhetoric, I don't really care about. We're just escalating this to another level of nothing. That's what I said. I don't really care. We can go down this rabbit hole, but I don't care. We're just entertaining everybody.
It's not a rabbit hole for me. It's all good.
Okay.
I heard what I heard. I
Okay.
didn't think it was that big of a deal. It was honestly a 20-second situation, but you tried to make it like that's not what you said. I mean, you said that. God. So
no, that's not true.
Back and what you're gonna say is that's not what you meant to say, is what you're gonna say, or you're gonna read it, you're gonna hear it.
I mean, you take it for what it is. I can't tell you how to take what I say.
Hey, bro, you'll hear it. We'll see if you feel the same way about it when you hear it. We'll see what you say. It is what it is, right?
Here we go. Come on, man.
No, it's not here we go. Just listen to it. If I really go back right now and do this, you're not gonna like what you see on what you said. I'm telling you.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna like what I said.
I'm telling you, if I do that, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, if I do this,
here we go.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is, bro. Look, HLD1 with the $5 salute, man. Wish Clay defended TEO this much with his certified medical reports, reasons, and official doctor statements for his performance versus Kambosos. I'm good with Teofimo having pneumonia and I thought he should rematch Kambosos. I think he beat Kambosos 10 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times. I mean, defend him for what? Did he need defending?
Thank you, Virgil. I've been trying to, but go ahead.
Did he need defending? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem. I don't care. I thought he was sick. I believed him. I believed he was sick. I believe he beats Kambosos 9 out of 10 times off the strength that he lost one time. I think you fight that guy 9 times in a straight row, he beats Kambosos. You know what I mean? I believe it. You know what I mean? I'm not defending TEO. Let me tell you what my point is with this. Looking at that Edwin De Los Santos fight with Shakur Stevenson, to me, would not help Teofimo. Because if you believe that an injured Shakur Stevenson, a version of him that won that fight against Kambosos, that tells you that you should attack him the way Kambosos did. I don't believe he was shocked. I believe Shakur Stevenson was in complete control of that fight. He wasn't in shock. Edwin De Los Santos is the one who got scared. He was the one not letting his hands go. He was the one not attacking Shakur. The Shakur thing was going to break him up before the fight. That's called mind games. It's selling the fight, and it also got into Edwin De Los Santos' head so that Edwin De Los Santos would be what he was, which was reserved, a little bit too defensive minded and not offensive minded to truly attack what he had in front of him, which was a hurt fighter that he could have taken advantage of. So, you know what I'm saying? Does a fighter with a hurt hand tell a fighter he's going to knock him out? Yeah. Why not? Why not?
I thought you asked my bad. I answered that too early. Yeah, my bad.
Just because your psychology may not be able to understand the misguidance in the, you know what I'm saying, by making the right hand keep somebody
not letting the left hand know what the right hand's doing, right?
You know what I'm saying? If you can't tie that into it, that's okay. But I can see, me personally, it's like the tough guy who don't want to fight nobody, walking up into the room, being tough on everybody, hoping nobody don't fight him. That's what Shakur did. He let him know that I'm planning on hitting you with some hot shit So what did Edwin De Los Santos focus on? Hot shit coming back at him.
Left
And
hook.
he didn't let his hands go. So that doesn't,
right hook.
To me, that doesn't add to the guilt or what's happening to it or not. All that stuff doesn't add up to anything. But very simply put, if Teofimo Lopez is looking at that Edwin De Los Santos fight, and if his team is looking at that fight and be like, you see how Edwin exposed him? We're going to do the same thing.
I didn't
Good
say
luck.
exposure. What I said was,
you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do
and,
it because
and Shakur was caught off by the speed.
I don't think he was.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't think he was. I think Edwin De Los Santos was a dangerous fighter. And maybe Shakur got caught off with the fact that my hand is hurt and I'm having a hard time, you know what I'm saying, truly evading this guy without hitting him with something. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he knew what kind of fighter Edwin De Los Santos was. I don't think Shakur Stevens is going to be caught. If Teofimo and his father want to take that fight and they want to apply pressure the same way, you know, if they feel like they saw something in that fight that they should take advantage of, then we'll find out January 31st. That'll be a great night for Teofimo, clearly, because that's a strategy that, hey, man, I'm not the guy. That's a beautiful strategy. Go for that, right? Me personally, I would be honest with myself and be like, that wasn't Shakur. We know who Shakur is. He's better than that. That Shakur right there had a hand injury, and that fight doesn't count because that fight right there doesn't represent Shakur Stevenson. That's how I feel. I don't think that fight.
I agree. I never said I disagree with any of those things, did I?
We'll find out.
Okay. We're going to find out.
Please, I am blatantly biased. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Shakur Stevenson is our golden one. Yeah. It is what it is. He adapted to the speed. He was scared of the power. I mean, it is what it is, man.
I don't think he was scared of the power. I think he was like, yo, I ain't believe this guy.
You make it known that it's hurt beforehand. Wait, on this level, though, if you're hurt, either you don't fight or you make it known that it's hurt beforehand. What? No, you don't make it known. If you don't fight, you make it known. You say, I'm not fighting because my hand is hurt. But if you're going into the fight, you don't let nobody know about what injuries you got. You go up in there and you fight confidently with what you got, and you let them know that, if anything, you want them to think that you're 100% so that they're on point and they don't feel like that's like the difference between a concealed weapon and a weapon on your hip, bro. If I let you know I got a weapon on my hips because I want you to know that you can catch that work. If I conceal it, then you can operate and not know what I'm sitting on, but I'm not going to sell you anything. It is what it is, man. How would you suggest TEO strategize against Shakur? I think that he's going to, I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. You can sit here and try to be like, yo, how you gonna? Shakur is a cerebral fighter, man. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now. You need a B plan, a C plan, a D plan. You need to be able to adjust. You need to be able to figure out things as you go in that fight. Shakur is gonna be able to adjust to whatever you do. So whatever your A plan is, by the second round, Shakur is gonna have that shit figured out, and he's gonna attack it in a different way. And if you try to force that A plan through, it's gonna be a hard night for you. You're gonna be able to have to adjust, identify things, and be able to adjust inside that ring.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I agree with that. I think it's hard. It's definitely got to be a plan. It's a lot of levels to Shakur's what do you call it? Ring IQ, which I mentioned earlier. All right, we gotta hurry up.
Yeah, me too. I gotta get ready to get out of here. If I'm hurt, but I think I can win, I'm going to tell you I'm gonna beat you with one hand.
All right, well, send it to me later, man, because it's all the chat bucket.
Send you what?
No, I thought you were gonna play the video. Maybe not.
You want me to play the video? Okay.
No, I thought you were. I don't know if you were. I don't know. I was waiting because I got to get my son.
Okay.
That's fine.
I know you're really waiting. I didn't want
to. You said you was doing it, not me.
Wait, I
just want to make sure. I don't really care. I didn't say he was faster than Shakur. Or is that somebody else saying that? Don't play it, Clay. That's what Frequent said. Ray, we bidden. You know what? Way we bidden. You know we rock with you. Listen, man. I seen enough in the chat to see people tell me that I was staying on the fence or whatever. I am on the fence in this fight because I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. It ain't got nothing to do with Shakur and De Los Santos. I was making a point. I just didn't know why we put the hand in. It's like me saying, "Oh, Tank Tank fights. What's the dude that's his mandatory now? Clay. What's his name? Show Schofield. I can say one of two things. I can say, yo, he's seen the way he knocked out Tevin Farmer. He might be worried about that, especially after the Lamont Roach fight. He might, you know what I mean? He might get a whole bunch of hair grease. Like, that's me being funny, but I would never say that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I would say Floyd Schofield is probably as explosive from watching that fight as with Tevin Farmer. And he can cause a problem for Tank in the pocket. I can say that. You know what I mean? Yes, Schofield did duck Shakur. He ducked Jojo Diaz too, because Jojo Diaz was punching with power, bro. And I don't think he won any of that on his back. Pause.
Okay. Let's see what you said. The day. At the end of the day, it's not about excuses, right? What it is am I counting on an injured Shakur Stevenson to show up against Teofimo Lopez? Because if he was injured in that fight, then does a healthy Shakur Stevenson perform the way he did that night with De Los Santos?
We don't know.
I think that's easy to say no, right?
We don't know.
Most
we
people
don't know.
No. You can hold
him accountable. His hand in that fight is the question. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Again, we don't know all the answers to this. I'm just keeping it.
Wait, what'd you say? What?
I said, did he even hurt his hand in that fight? Because he hit it awkward with that left hand too, but he said his left hand was hurting before the fight, right? Or his shoulder or something he hurt in training.
It was his shoulder and his hand.
Yeah, he said he hurt his hand. I mean, but I don't know, bro. Like I said, I'm not here to debate it. I was just making
That's what I said. You asked a question.
Yeah, you can stop it. If you stop it, we're gonna stop right there.
Okay, we can stop it.
That's what I said. I told you. I don't know. I wasn't trying to criticize him or kick his back in over this. I literally said what I said, bro. I'm not trying to kick his back in, bro.
So I could play it back again real quick. Did you say we don't know if he hurt his hand in that fight?
I said no. The question you laced was Shakur have won that fight or something if his hand was okay? I said we don't know.
Well, he won the fight with his hand.
Right. But I'm just saying, you said, go back to your question.
Does he perform the same way with an injured hand that he does with a healthy hand?
Again, I don't know how that fight turned out. Clay, when that guy took that first lunge at Shakur in that first round and swung that crazy ass hook, right? That right hook.
Ray,
hold on. Listen to me.
Hold on. Ray, hold on. I'm gonna ask you the question again. I want you to listen to me.
All right.
Does Shakur Stevenson perform better with a healthy hand over an injured hand?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
Thank you.
If his hand was injured, yeah, he would perform if it wasn't injured. Of course. If that's what
that's what I've been saying the whole time.
All right. Well, I misread that question then. Because I assumed you were saying there's a fight. Is the fight different altogether? Like, does he see the same thing?
I'm going to ask you this question. If his hand is injured, I'm going to ask the first question. If his hand is injured, does he perform better or worse than when his hand is healthy?
That's a no-brainer. Of course, he's going to perform better if his hand is healthy.
If he performs better, is the fight going to be different than if his hand was hurt? Because you're saying you don't know.
Listen, that I don't know. We don't know, because if he's taking more chances in this fight to engage with De Los Santos, which you already seen that De Los Santos was a threat to him, right? And I seen that he was a threat to him. I think the world seen he was a threat to him with the speed and things that he didn't see coming, Clay. It's very possible. That it could have went differently or been the same. I don't know. I don't know what happened, because we're talking what ifs now, right? I'm not going to go down what if lanes. What I don't know, I don't know. I can't tell you would have been different. Can I say, in my opinion, it might have been different? Yes. In my opinion, it could have been different, but that's my opinion. As far as the facts goes, and it's different, I don't know. I really don't. And I don't think anybody knows, because we didn't see that end of the stick, right? We didn't see that fight. according to you and everyone else, according to Shakur. So I don't know. We don't know.
No, I know.
Oh,
if Shakur Stevenson is healthy, he performs better than if he's unhealthy.
I mean,
and he fights a better fight healthy than he does unhealthy. That's what I'm at. Me personally.
You might be right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Health is a big part of the fight. If you're healthy, I think you fight a better fight than if you're unhealthy. If you're fighting better unhealthy
than you are healthy. All right, hold on. Let me go get this kid. All right,
I gotta go too. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys popping. I appreciate you guys popping through, bro. I'm sorry that you guys had to, and I'm not sorry. You know, I'm sure it was entertaining, but anyway, at the end of the day, this is going to be an interesting fight, ladies and gentlemen. Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. Hopefully, Shakur is healthy, 2 healthy hands. And hopefully, Teofimo is good. No upper respiratory infection. maybe fly frequency, maybe, man. Maybe it is, man. Maybe it is. I don't know, man. It is what it is. Well, hopefully both these guys show up healthy, are getting ready to do their thing, man. Thank you guys for showing up, man. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that as well. Hit the subscribe button. It was a great build today, man. Appreciate all the love, all the support, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. Clay and Ray, good debate and boxing talk with y'all. No doubt, Roger that, man. Salute, man. Salute to my co-host Ray Davis, man. Until the next one, it's that ATP Combat Media Show with your boy Clay. And at this point, we out.